What is going on, everybody? It is your observant lineman, Uche Nwaneri, and this is the Lineman Life Podcast. Appreciate everybody for coming in and checking us out here. Tuesday NFL games, as we all know, or as we all found out for the first time, is the place where things can definitely happen for social media to grab a hold onto. And of course, we all know last night was a particularly surreal moment during the game between the Titans and the Buffalo Bills. Now, man, I feel like I put a hex on the Bills. I did a breakdown on their offensive line, gushed over how well the team was doing and how the culture in Buffalo has certainly changed to that of a team that expects to win. And really, honestly, that hasn't changed. I don't think that's changed much at all. But in this particular game, these guys were hit with a bit of a curveball by these Titans. These Titans hit them in the mouth. From the very beginning onwards through. I mean, the Bills just got caught in a buzzsaw with these guys. Clearly 2 weeks of not working out at their facilities refreshed them to the point of being ready to take on a team like the Bills and just put a pounding on them. So they blew these guys out. Yeah, they blew out. They almost hung 50 on the Buffalo Bills. Now, it's a hard game to really, look at and be able to point at any one particular thing that really cost the Bills. Everything just wasn't working for them the way that I'm sure that they had hoped when they went into this game against the Titans. Now, speaking from experience, the Tennessee Titan game every year when I played in the NFL, this was a game that we call the two chin strap game. This was a game that when we got ready to play against these guys, our practices were a little bit more intense. Our film study was a little bit more vigorous. And, we went into this game with the mindset of it is going to be a slugfest. It is going to be a physical encounter. We need to be ready for a physical encounter. And there's going to need to be a bit of resolve that you have to reach deep down inside and pull out in order to give the team the best chance at coming away with wins. Now, if I do recall, we played Tennessee, 7 years, twice a year, 14 times, 21 times, or I'm sorry, 2, 4, 6, 8, 14 times. Yeah, we played them 14 times. Had to think a little bit there on the math. And I'm pretty sure when I played, we had in my time playing in Jacksonville, we either had a even record with them or we won one or two more games against them. We usually split the series each year. Only a few times I can remember that we won both games, but it was a physical game because there's physical players on both sides. It was usually, our running game against their running game because we had featured running backs. We had Maurice Jones-Drew. They had Chris Johnson. And now they have Derrick Henry, and they're going up against a Bill squad on defense that is a revived defense. I mean, they're not a top defense, but they are, decently rebounding in terms of being a more consistent defense. But on this particular play, and I know we've all seen it, it's the stiff arm that has been heard around the world from Derrick Henry on Josh Norman. Now, just to relive the moment, I'm going to play this very briefly, and let's hope that YouTube doesn't snatch down my my stream or demonetize it at worst. But I mean, guys, it was just a thing of absolute ferocious aggression that happened last night. Let me share this screen. Let's see here. Let's take a look at this, and let's make this thing a little bit more big. Little bit more big. All right. So for those of you who have children in the room, I would suggest that you have the children leave the room for a moment. We're about to witness felony assault on the football field right now. You've been warned. But let me share this. Where is it? Okay. Down. Whoops. All right, here we go. Let's do it.
He almost got him to jump. Yes, he did. He gives it to Henry. Henry trying to get the defender just moving to his backside. He almost got him to jump. Yes, he did. He gives it to Henry.
Yeah!
The defender just moving to his backside.
So, man, that right there, probably the most vicious stiff arm you're going to see this year. Derrick Henry's a man. The dude is what, 6'4", 6'4", 240 pounds, 230 pounds, something crazy, and just vicious in his demeanor as a running back. And it does remind me of Maurice Jones-Drew and with the stiff arms, because Mojo used to stiff arm the life out of players whenever he would meet them in the open field. And it was a lot like the situation here, where you got Derrick Henry running towards the sideline. And this was a similar thing when we played against the Titans in Tennessee in a game where Maurice had like 185 yards rushing. I think that was the game where both Mojo and Chris Johnson both had over 100 yards rushing, over 150 yards rushing each. But it was, vicious. And it looks effortless. When you watch stiff arms, a lot of times with running backs, it looks effortless. But I actually think there's really an art to it, because it's almost like you partially have to, it's like a quick jab. It's like a jab. You hit them with that jab, put that shoulder in it like a shotgun, just yak, and you catch them at the right spot because your momentum's going one way because you're running. You hit them in the right spot, and you can send them flying. And that's exactly what happened to Josh Norman. But even more infamous in way of what happened to him is that now he has become an international meme. And here are some of the best edits from him being that meme. You got just they got him sliding for home plate. They got him doing a ollie on the skate ramp. He's coming off the top ropes in WWE, and he's playing Twister here, trying to get his feet on red 7 and elbow on green 2. So yeah, really not a good situation for Josh Norman. because this guy is now, in a year that he's trying to rebound, kind of reinvigorate his career. He's now kind of just, once again, going to be the butt of some jokes. They got him in the mosh pit. They got him in the mosh pit over here. I mean, people are going in on this guy. I mean, it's not fair. It's not fair. But I think that, whoa. Is that Julio? Oh, okay. Nice. Julio, okay. We're talking about Chris Henry here, but shoot, why not look at some Julio highlights? That's always good. Wow. Gee, look at this guy's hustle. He's a receiver. Look at DB's like, no, wait. Oh, he don't play. I'm telling you. Okay. I see you, Julio. I see you, buddy. I see you. But aside from that, it was a bit of a shock for me to see the Bills get beat down like that. I think they really it was too much for them to handle. Now, that doesn't mean that team isn't ready to continue to be successful. I think they are. I just honestly feel like right now, they're just, in this game, they just weren't ready for what was coming from Tennessee. And, that really is what it boils down to. But as far as the NFL goes, a lot of little stories that have popped up since last night. Melvin Gordon III got arrested for DUI. So there's something. And also it appears that in breaking news that the Pro Bowl has just been canceled. Ooh, let's see what's going on with that. Okay. Pro Football Talk. And please kill that sound. All right. Pro Football Talk actually has they actually have an article up. 2020 Pro Bowl pay has been eliminated. Let me share this with you guys so you guys can see it. And just for anybody who's just joining in, I will be having an old teammate of mine, 6-year NFL vet linebacker, Geno Hayes, will be joining the show here in a moment. But right now, let's take a look at the situation with, oh my God. I hate these websites that just start playing the audio without my permission. Like, I didn't ask y'all to turn the audio on. But says elimination of 2020 Pro Bowl pay likely means no 2020 Pro Bowl. Says as the dust begins to settle on what essentially was an expedited CBA negotiation affecting multiple years of the relationship between the NFL and the NFL Players Association, more details of the efforts to guard against pandemic-induced losses are emerging. NFL media tweeted on Saturday morning one of the concessions from the NFLPA in connection with the revised labor deal is that the Pro Bowl pay has been eliminated this year, with $74,000 per player on the winning team and $37,000 per player on the losing team. Garofalo estimates that the savings at $5 million. That's probably the first of the savings associated with the 2020 Pro Bowl. Ultimately, travel and hotels and practice facilities and food and all other expenses will be avoided as well because there likely will be no Pro Bowl at all. That's probably the first, that's the real takeaway from this report, beyond the fact that no player in his right mind would voluntarily revert to the college football no pay model. Yeah, definitely not. Why would the NFL bring players from all over the country to Las Vegas for an experience that, given the pandemic protocols, will hardly be the week of rest and relaxation capped by 2-hand touch in full pads? That's also true. Unless an effective vaccine has been created and distributed by late January, which is highly unlikely at this point, the NFL won't be able to justify staging a meaningless game that creates unnecessary risk to everyone associated with with it at the height of cold and flu season, especially after playing enough games to even get to the point that the Pro Bowl would be played. So bet the under on the Pro Bowl happening in January. And this was from July, but let's see what they have. That's from July. Well, this I guess it's not really breaking news then, is it? But let's see here. Let's go back. Where is that? Right here. Let's dig a little deeper. Okay. Yeah. Well, here we go. This is official. 49 minutes ago, NFL announces cancellation of 20. Come on. Jeez. How do I stop these things? I hate these ads that just play the audio. Stop it. All right. NFL announces cancellation of 2021 Pro Bowl game. Las Vegas will host 2022 game. So basically, they're just swapping the games out. And I'll go through this quickly. It says there's a statement. It says the NFL will continue to recognize the players' outstanding seasons and welcome fans to demonstrate their passion for their favorite players when voting for the 2021 Pro Bowl roster. Roster begins on November 17th. The full Pro Bowl rosters will be revealed in December, where the players are determined by the consensus votes of fans, players, and coaches. Each group's vote counts as 1/3 towards determining the 88 All-Star players who are selected to the Pro Bowl roster. Additionally, the league will work closely with the NFLPA and other partners to create a variety of engaging activities to replace the Pro Bowl game this season. The virtual recognition of the season's finest players will provide fans the opportunity to celebrate the accomplishments of their favorite stars. Yada, yada, yada. So, I guess that's a wrap on the Pro Bowl. But you know what? Let's be honest. The Pro Bowl is just a popularity contest. Nobody really cares about that. But I actually have my guest on the show today, linebacker, 6 years out of Florida State University, drafted to the Buccaneers in 2008, my teammate in Jacksonville in 2013. Here's my homeboy, Gino Hayes. Gino, what's good, bro? Let me get this.
Nothing much, man.
What's going on, man? What's going on? How you been?
Like, good. I'm working on my life. I'm good. I can't help it. I'm good.
That's what's up, man. It's good to talk to you. Me and him talked on the phone for a little bit earlier, man. And I said it feels like it was just yesterday, even though it's been years. It feels like it was just yesterday. You know, that's how quick time moves, and that's how fleeting it can be, right?
Man, it can go by quick. You really don't know, how much work you put in, and then out of nowhere you just like, oh, and you got to work through all of that. Right on by. Like,
yeah, dude, it's pushing on 7 years since I've been retired. I've almost been retired as long as I played.
What?
Yeah, dude, it's crazy. It's crazy.
Man, I've been 5 years. It's been 5 years out, but I made sure I wrote down my 5-year plan to make sure what I want. But things in life happen, and gotta go.
I hear you. I hear you, most def, man, most def. So what? Did you caught the game last night, right? Or did you?
No, I didn't. I didn't watch it, but
you saw the tweets.
It loses like it never ever loses. Twitter is like the winner of the world. Like when I saw
every day.
I couldn't even imagine that as a player. I couldn't imagine that. I couldn't.
Man, I mean, Derrick Henry, man, he's got that robotic stiff arm. He just knocks people out with that thing.
And the whole time, the funny thing about it was when I saw it, I'm like, okay, let me go back and watch it. Because, I like to break down film. So I go back and watch, and I'm like, bro, your whole point of attack was horrible to
Oh
begin
yeah.
with.
He was moving laterally, like completely laterally when he was chasing him. So any movement that pushes you further is going to send you flying. And so he got his, Derrick Henry got his stiff arm right under his shoulder pad.
He went back to Africa. I don't know where he come from, but he went back
Not
to Africa.
back to Africa. Yeah, dude, that's probably the best stiff arm I've seen all year. I mean, shoot. I mean, like I said, I've seen Mojo. I've seen Mojo knock cats like that. I seen him do Michael Griffith like that, the Tennessee safety when we played in Tennessee, where he just hit him with a quick, strong chop to the side of his head, and he went flying out to the sideline. I'm like, whoa! But I mean, the way he lifted this cat up, like he actually ascended before he started coming back down with the stiff arm. He went into the air and then he came down.
It's like watching Thor just throw somebody with the hammer.
Yeah, it's like he threw him with the hammer. Mjolnir, you're not worthy. But yeah, man. So what's been going on? How's everything been like? I know you said that you have a really keen perspective on how things kind of flow in regards to your life, and I'm sure we can both relate. So I mean, what do you think about how everything's going on right now with your life, with society, with whatever? I mean, it doesn't even matter.
I just think there's a lot that's going on. I know a lot of people don't really understand the life and the thought process behind it, and I had to literally have a conversation. I actually wrote my wife a letter about this, and she still got it, And if you out there, whoever you are, whatever man you are, it's perfect to sit down and write down the letter and send it out just to help you out there. But no, I had to write a letter about understanding that I'm coming from a business mindset that if you don't have everything ready to go like this, then you out the door. And I had to learn how to calm that down. And that part of my life is what I had to go through. In my first 2 years, I was making sure everything knocked out. Then I ended up getting like sick and like, crap, and that slowed me down. Slowed me down all the way down. So it helped me though, because I learned something in life real good. It was a valuable lesson. You can go however you want to go with it. The universe or God will put you in your back to make you see what's going on.
Yeah, I can definitely relate to that. I can hear that. So you said you got sick. I mean, I know that we talked before briefly about it, and I didn't, I figured I'd let you, I'd want to hear you talk about it rather than kind of like press you when we were talking back then. So tell me a little bit about what the situation was.
Well, I want to say it because I know I have to, I want people to understand it in a different way. So I want to make sure it's published in the right way.
Oh, you writing a book. You put it on paper. Okay. Hey, that's fine, dude. I mean, I'm all for however you want to express your, whatever, however you want your story to come across. You got to express it in a way that you feel comfortable expressing it. So, much love and more power to you on that. I know, for me, this is probably the last year, I would say has been the time that I've kind of gotten back into like fully like paying attention to like football again. Like I kind of just didn't, after I retired, I kind of just moved away from, I didn't really want to watch football that much. I don't know if it was just missing the game or, feeling like, I was a little bit lost as to what, where my identity was going from there once I retired. But I tried to focus on, a lot of, my businesses and just, didn't pay too much attention to football. I always thought football was boring to watch without being like emotionally invested in watching it, because if you watch it as a player, you just become a coach watching the game. And, you know, at that time I wanted to kind of distance myself from it. So I didn't watch really football at all until about the last year. And people always ask me, they're like, how you played football your whole life? And I always say, you know, when you're there, it's like a break when you retire. And I don't think a lot of people realize this. When you retire from something you've done your entire life, it's like you broke up, you know, with, you know, a girlfriend, or got divorced from a wife, or lost a kid or something. Like it's like you go through a grieving process to a certain extent. Like you kind of, you're reshaping everything about who you are and trying to find what path you're going to take. And, you know, and a lot of times there's a lot of different emotions that I had to deal with because of that. Like there was bitterness, there was anger, there was sadness, there was, you know, the whole 5 stages of grief, confusion, everything. So for some years, like I just didn't have I didn't want to actively deal with those emotions that come up just from watching the game. You start getting emotions that come up because, you know, at that point when I retired, I was like, that was what, 2014. So I was like, you know, part of me was like, shoot, I could still play. Shoot. So how are these dudes still out here playing and they're bums? But I'm retired. Like, you
Total
know,
bombs. Oh man, whew.
that's it, right?
Like
Like,
when
you start comparing yourself to these cats who are out there playing. Like, how is this dude still playing in the league? Like, there's some cats I'm like, how is he still playing? He's not good, but you know, that's part of.
I'm not gonna be. I'm gonna be cool with this one, but I'm gonna be myself. I gotta be myself. I'm just gonna be a little explicit a little bit. It's like, you know, a guy little with a pee-pee. He good with his mouth though.
Yeah, I mean, but that only goes so far though, right? Like, you still got to have the motion in the ocean. You still got to have it.
So he must be great.
I mean, he would have to be a Guinness World Record great kind of cat. But no, dude, like, you know, I think that's a sentiment that a lot of players in every sport have when they walk away from their sport. That's why Jordan came back. You know, that's why he came back twice. You know, that's why.
The funny thing is like with me is when they were calling me, they wanted me to come back because the athletic side was just easy. That was, to me, they understood it's just a hobby. But on the back end, they know the strategy side from me. And, you know, being able to learn all of everything. And, you know, people don't remember when we played Denver. In Denver, I was the one that helped get him to not get Peyton Manning what he was doing.
But that
So
was
I understand
when you were in Jacksonville.
Yeah, and that's understanding all 64 spots on the board. So it's like, you know, I'm literally back here thinking, and that's why I really wanted to get away from it for a while, because I really wanted to watch my kids grow, and I wanted to work on my family and things of that nature. But because I got tired of going on away games. I got tired of rushing to go to practice and then back to see my son play his little flag football and then rush back to catch the plane. I got tired of that.
Yeah.
And people don't understand that once that happened, I was like, most people don't retire on their own terms. And if you do that, you are doing something that people don't really understand.
Yeah, no, for sure. And I mean, I would say for myself, I didn't necessarily retire on my own terms, but I recognized the scenario that I was in. I mean, I was a I was a in a year when they had a brand new CBA, and this is 2000. This is well, not in the year, but since that new CBA in 2010, it changed the landscape in a way that a lot of veterans didn't really anticipate, because veterans were given bigger contracts, but then it became, well, we can get these rookies and these practice squad guys for nothing and not pay that veteran who is a better player, who has more experience, who will be consistent. We don't want to pay him $1.5 million for a year when we can give $300,000, $400,000 to this practice squad guy and hope he can just fill in the blank until the draft comes and we can draft somebody else. And
you just hit a major point, brother. Oh, you just hit a major.
So that was the scenario that I was in, is that no team wanted, because I mean, they couldn't sign me to be a backup. I mean, I started 92 games in Jacksonville. I went 4 seasons in a row without missing a game, or I missed 1 game rather in 4 seasons. And if this guy this was my situation in Dallas when I went to Dallas, that's when it dawned on me what the situation was when I was in Dallas with the Cowboys, was that they had me playing at center and left guard. And I was a right guard, but I started an entire season at left guard, so I can play left and I can play center. I can play all 3. But they had the young player that they had high hopes for at left guard, Ron Leary. They drafted Zach Martin. Now, before they drafted Zach Martin, they were going to offer me a 3-year deal. But then, they were certain that, and this is 2014. So they were certain that Jerry Jones was going to draft Johnny Manziel. So they were trying to convince him not to, but he was all about Manziel. So they were like, look, when the draft's over, we'll give you a 3-year deal. Yeah, you can come in, start at right guard. Like, okay, cool.
Yeah, because Texas, so of course you're going to try and look out for Texas.
Exactly. And, my agent's from Dallas. My agent knows, he knows Jerry, boom. So I'm like, cool, I'm from Dallas. I'll do that. And 2 days before the draft, they called my agent and they're like, hey, let's wait till after the draft before we offer the deal officially, because they were going to give it to me right before the draft. But then they said, let's wait, because they were starting to crack Jerry Jones into not drafting Johnny Manziel. So they ended up drafting Zach Martin. And then after that, they offered me a 1-year deal. I'm like, okay, whatever, fine. I'll just let my play do the talking for me. So I go to Dallas and I'm already preparing to play left because, before I even get there, just because I'm not anticipating that they're going to start me at right guard over a player they drafted to play at right guard. So I get there, training camp. First day of training camp, we're in full pads, one-on-one pass rush drills. And you know how one-on-one pass rush is that first day during training camp. I mean, that's probably the most hyped drill of the entire practice is one-on-one pass rush. So, I don't even remember the cats' names that I went against, but I went against the starters. And the very first pass set I did at left guard, which I have not pass set live at left guard at this point for 7 years. So I'm like, just like riding a bike, right? Just get your hand in the dirt and let's go. First pass set, body the starting defensive tackle, pancake, boom, right in his chest. He was wide armed, trying to rush a wide rush, trying to do a swim. Caught him right on his chest plate, sent him straight to the ground. First play, second play, stood him up. So I'm like, okay, cool. I can still do it at left. So first preseason game comes. I mean, it was crazy because the first preseason game against San Diego, I think it was against San Diego. Yeah, San Diego. And I mean, I went in with the second group, balled out. The radio stations in Dallas the next day, the sports talk in Dallas the next day was talking about how I was the biggest surprise on the offensive line for that game and how I played. I mean, I had like a couple cut blocks, had solid pass protection, moved blocks in the run game. And they were saying that they were saying basically that I was beating Ron Leary for the left guard spot. The very next day, I got moved off of left guard and got moved back to center and didn't take any more snaps at left guard for the next week. I was like, really? I was like, is this really what we're doing right here? So I'm like, whatever. I'm playing center. They put me in at center. They told me I was going to play. I was going to play center during part of the scrimmage. So they put me at center, and I mean, I didn't have any missed calls, fine blocking, whatever. There's scouts out there. They said in their reports or they're not scouts. There's beat writers out there, and they say in their reports, oh, Nwaneri still looks really strong. The next day, they moved me from center to backup right guard. And that's where I was the rest of the preseason. And I was like, you know what? The writings, I can see what y'all are trying to do here. Y'all thought that I was going to come in here and just be, whatever. But I came in and I'm better than the left guard you got starting. I'm better than the backups. And I'm a starting guard. It's clear as day to see that. But y'all didn't want to see that. So, I ended up leaving Dallas. And, I started, and a couple teams had called, but it was really just a matter of if I make the roster, I'm guaranteed my money. If I sign with another team, I'm guaranteed my money because I'm a vet. I'm completely vested. So, it became that situation because the Falcons actually wanted to sign me to a multi-year deal before the Cowboys did, but it came down to me and the guard from Kansas City who was Asamoah. I think his name was Asama or something like that. He's a Nigerian cat too, but they gave him the deal. It was the cat they just fired, the GM they just fired. Him and Mike Smith. Mike Smith was the head coach of the Falcons. You remember Smitty? They was calling me like, hey, Dirk Cutter's the coordinator. Dirk Cutter was my offense coordinator in Jacksonville for 6 years. So shoot, they was like, Uche knows the offense front to back.
Funny thing is, it's funny. It's like with what you're saying is because like when you have those opportunities and they know you are that valuable player, as you stated, like why are you gonna go over here to the young guy?
Why are you being cheap?
Yeah, we growing pains here, bro. We trying to win, ships.
You're trying to win right. If you're trying to win right now, get players who already know how to play well. Like Dimitrov overruled Mike Smith. Mike Smith wanted to sign me in free agency over the guard they picked from Kansas City that they gave like a 4 or 5 year deal to. Dimitrov over because I guess they went back and forth on it. Mike Tice, Dirk Cutter, and Mike Smith were like, we would rather have Uche. And Dimitrov was like, nah, we're going to go with Kansas City.
You talking exactly what my situation was because I was sitting there, with Gus Bradley and everybody like that. It's like, yo, okay, well, I had some people get mad because I had 1 day off a week. That's all because of what happened to my leg when I was a rookie. So they was making sure I took care of me so I don't get hurt to make sure I'm good to go because in order to get that kind of trust, that means they know for a fact up here you're good. Athletic side. You get what I'm saying? Like that part.
They just don't want to pay you. Like it didn't have nothing to do with my physical. Like they just didn't want to pay me.
I played all three. God, it was crazy. I played all three positions when Puz went down. I had to dang, I got to learn. I had to do the mic. I got to do the Sam. I got to do the wheel. I got to learn the safety of all of them. And I still did it. And we still came out and won. And y'all
Yeah.
still on the pay.
Yeah, dude, it was crazy to me like that. And my agent was telling me like, like they have the option. I don't know what the issue is. They want to pay. They want to bring up a practice squad guy for $400,000, but he's not going to get that $400,000 because when they bring him up, they're only going to bring him up for a little while, and then they're going to send him right back down, or they're going to cut him. And find somebody else that they can pay $400,000 to. So. They would rather, and I was actually like, I was hopeful at the beginning of free agency that the Titans, not the Titans, I'm sorry, the Falcons would sign me because I already had a crib in Atlanta. So, because when I left Jacksonville, like literally the next day, the Cincinnati Bengals called and was like, hey, we're going to fly you up to Cincinnati. Come check out our facilities, meet with Coach, with Marvin Lewis. I was like, cool. So I flew straight to Cincinnati before free agency, met with them. Then I came back to Jacksonville, then flew I was in Atlanta. Came back to Atlanta, flew right back out to Tennessee because the Titans wanted me to come visit. Met with them, then came back. And then that's when my agent was like, hey, the Falcons are calling that they want to try and work a deal. You know all those guys. Their entire coaching staff was Jacksonville's coaching staff just 2 years ago.
They don't. Man, that's the crazy part about the business that people do not understand. The business is like, it's no different than, you growing up and understanding that you have to network and you have to know people, because that's all it is with, the coaching staffs and things like that. Because literally during the season, the Cowboys wanted to make a trade to get me. And the rule, like if you go to another team during the season,
that's double dip. Double dip, the legendary double dip.
Thinking like, go.
What? That's an extra year for free. That's like the best scenario a player can ever have in the NFL is to get the double dip.
They wouldn't let me get it though, because they knew because I was just that valuable, but they still want play because they wanted me to be, the coach of so and so and so and so. And I gotta, man, y'all better pay me.
They start messing with your money. That's what a lot of people don't be getting about the NFL is that they will mess with your money. They'll mess with it. They'll know. They know what's in your contract. Like they know what's in there.
Like 3-4 million. Did that, man.
Dude, the Jaguars released me 3 days before they were supposed to pay me $1.5 million roster bonus. 3 days. Wow. Like 3 days. I was like, oh, okay. So y'all motherfuckers couldn't wait until fucking Tuesday to do this shit. And then they wouldn't even do it to my face. They called me on the phone. This is a player who's been on your franchise, who was drafted by your franchise, played 7 years, destroyed his body for your franchise, and you're gonna call me on the phone to tell me I'm released? And I was the only veteran on the offensive line. Like Brad Meester retired. You remember he retired. It was me.
Yeah.
And that happened. And there's a whole story about why I think I got released from Jacksonville because Coach Yarno. I was being honest with Coach Yarno, and I don't think he liked it. I think I think he started feeling kind of like how he felt with Eugene Monroe, that you being honest with him means you disrespecting him, so he don't want you around him no more.
Yeah, you bounce. You really pretty much trying the ego, because we got to still deal with
got in the way of
it. And you just lost a whole person that's trying to actually win and do something. I was
being honest with him. I was telling him I want to be a leader. I want to be a leader for the line. I want to help these young guys like improve, because that's all we're gonna have next year is a bunch of young guys. And he got mad. He was like, "I thought you weren't in the best shape this year." I'm like, "Yeah, I had knee surgery, motherfucker. Of course I wasn't."
That's what I'm saying. That's why I said, like, even with with me, I had to go. Every week I had 1 week, 1 day off because of my knee when it happened for my rookie year. And I had guys that was vet that were older, and I was like, oh, these motherfuckers hating on me. Cause you ain't no, bro. I'm just that important, but they not trying to do their part.
Yeah,
Because I
yeah,
know
yeah.
exactly what you need to do. I can tell you what you need to do. When we get on the line, who you turn around and look to and ask for a question?
Yeah,
You know, you know what I mean? And it's
dude.
funny now. It's funny nowadays that people don't remember or understand that being a
There's a
linebacker,
lot of
you know,
politics.
hey, it's a lot because you have to be, you know, quarterbacks are the face of the franchise. Yay, whatever. But linebackers are just as important. Centers are just important because of what the dynamics of what they have to learn and what they have to do. But people
Yeah.
don't understand. That's hard to convey to them, and that's the part that
The
bothers me.
mic the linebackers direct all the traffic, and the center
Everything.
directs all the traffic. So
Get all the praise though. It's the crazy
on
part,
every
man.
play of the game, right? And I'll never forget this because I think this is what pissed off Yarno the most. And for those of y'all in the audience who don't know, Coach Yarno, R.I.P. because he has passed away since then. But Coach Yarno was the O-line coach in Jacksonville. My last year in Jacksonville, he was a unique cat. I mean, he was funny, but from a schematic standpoint, his scheme and how offensive lines call their players does not match what is the norm in the NFL. I thought it was ass backwards. I was like, and so did Brad Meester. He was like, this is not how you call defenses. But
No.
when we were talking in our exit interview, my last year, before everybody left after the season ended, he was like, I was explaining
Oh,
to
you
him
had
why. Huh?
wait. You had an exit interview?
Yeah, with Yarno. Yeah, I had an exit interview. Yeah, at the end of
Oh,
the season.
I didn't. You know what I did? I just walked out of the building and threw everything in there.
Just he said holla. I mean, I had an exit interview, so everybody on the O line was like, "Ooch, man, just be real with him. Tell him, hey, man, tell him all the Cam Bradfield,
Yes.
Brewster, all these cats. Like, man, just tell him we got to change the calling system because what he's doing just is not. It just doesn't make sense." And I was like, this is the thing about me. In a situation like that, had it been our old offensive line coach, Andy Heck, I would have probably just, I would have let Andy talk because Andy is going to be real about it. And and I'm going to probably agree with a lot of things he says. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to let him talk and, I'm going to finish it. I'm not going to go in there and try and, stand up on a soapbox and plead to him about what I think we should do. Because he knows he's the offensive line coach right now in Kansas City, so he knows what he's doing. You know what I mean? Yeah. Yarno had thus far since he'd been in Jacksonville had traded away our left tackle in Eugene Monroe because of personal things between them because he was mad at him, and this guy has shown to just be a complete he was a hothead, a real hothead, and I was just like, I'm going to do what I do and talk to him in the most respectful, most mellow, even keel manner I can. I'm not going to get excited talking to him about nothing. I'm not going to belittle anything he's saying. And and everything's going to end with yes sir, yeah, whatever. Just so that he knows that I'm not coming at him sideways. I'm just being, this is just what I'm trying to be a leader and show that
You was right. You were in Dallas, though, right?
Yeah, I was in Dallas.
Okay, so you were there. I think you were there with Rich Bisaccia.
Yeah. You talking about
Rich Bisaccia, the special team guy.
special teams.
And
Yeah.
I never forget. I was watching the game. That's why, you speaking about it earlier, and they was talking about, watching the game. I'm watching the game. Like I think it was what his name is at the DN, Greg Hardy.
Greg
He
Hardy.
came into the huddle, and everybody looked at Rich, and Rich, he being Rich, he like, yo, you gonna give, I don't care who you is, you know what I mean? It's like, taught me that like you better do that because that's just the way it is in this business, and you have to do that because, well, you can't do it unless you act. You got to
Unless
do it
you,
because if coach disrespect you, coach disrespect you. I never forget when I was out there with that's why me and Bob Babbage and Gus and all
yeah,
we
yeah.
all us came together because I'm not gonna let you disrespect me at all because I'm a man. We working together. We trying to get to where we gotta go. We got families to feed, and I'm a man. You're not gonna disrespect me as a man.
Mm-hmm.
Now you gonna show me the same thing and reciprocation. And that day, it was oh man, it was something happened with me and Robert Sala. Sala was the linebacker coach. We was
Mm-hmm.
talking,
Mm-hmm.
and
Silo.
I love Sala. God, I love him. Love him. That's my dude. But something happened during playing versus Pittsburgh. And I'm sitting there, of course, like you say, the young players, I gotta sit there. Like here go Gus walking over. I'm sitting on the sideline with my hat on. Gino, get ready. What?
Get ready for what?
So the next so, so the next day we get in the meet room, everybody leave out. You be like, hey, Gus said, man, look here, bro. Y'all tripping. Hold up, time out. Let's get it right. Let's get this right. Y'all tripping now. I'm trying to help out the team. Man, y'all playing with my money. I ain't even finna joke with y'all. Y'all tripping. Like, I need to put stuff on film, and y'all taking away from my 70%, which means I could have made another 475 to 650,000 over here just doing
Mm-hmm.
that.
Taken away from your
Y'all
playtime, right? A lot of people don't know there's playtime incentives in your contract. You have to play at least what you played the year before to meet that incentive, or they'll take some of your money. Like, people don't even realize that. There's so many little things in NFL contracts that players lose a lot of money on or can gain a lot of money on. And like, again, when I spoke to Coach Yarno, and like I said, I knew this was the moment that fucking pissed him off. He's like, and because I knew he was expecting me to say something else, because all year I was just a good soldier. I said, yes, sir. Yes, coach. What up? What up? What up? Never argued with him about nothing. Always was flexible to do what he wanted to do. So I'm sure he was expecting me to say something along the lines of what he wanted to hear. And I told him before I even went into this, coach, I want to be a leader. I want to work with you to make this line a better line next season. But I feel honestly like a lot of the issues we had this year was that nobody knew what the hell was going on. I said,
That's exactly.
the tight ends didn't know what calls we were giving them. They had no idea what calls we were talking about. The running backs didn't know what calls we were giving them. They had no idea what we were talking about. And I said, when we're in Denver playing against the Broncos and Brad Meester turns and looks at me and asks me, who do I think we should call? I was like, when Brad Meester does that, Brad Meester has never, in the entire time I played with this guy, he has never turned to me and be like,
As you know,
who you think we should call? And I'm like, I was literally looking at the ground in my stance when I heard him. I turned my head and was like, huh? I looked up. I'm like, oh, shit. Because it was the one look that we talked about. Brad had asked him questions about this multiple times during the week. He asked him, he said, man, George, I don't know. I mean, you know how Brad was. Brad's a country dude. He's like, man, I don't know. What if they do something like this? And Yarno was like, don't worry about it. They won't do anything like that. Man, they ran exactly what the hell he was concerned about. The first time we got into we were like at the Denver like 25, 30-yard line. And I remember this because I was mind blown when he asked me. Now, I knew what he was looking at. So I looked up and was like, ooh, I was like, I don't fucking know. I looked at him and said, I don't know, Brad. Let's go with that guy. He said, all right, we're going with that guy. I'm like, whatever. Like,
And
these are the things that doom a team. When you have coaches.
I was sitting here the other night watching the FSU game, and my mom and dad thought I was like drunk or whatever, but I wasn't. I was thinking from a coaching mind, and I'm sitting looking like, no, that's bro. He about to do.
I'm telling you, when you play the game as long as we played it, like you understand how like I can look at any team, any offensive, I can look at any offense and watch the play one time that they run and then tell you who the call linebackers are supposed to be, tell you who is supposed to be blocking who and how they're supposed to be blocking them, because it's all the same. But you have to learn it. You learn a new language. Once you learn the language don't change when you go, depending on what teams you look at. It's all the same. But
the funny thing is, I know some people get it will be because like with Brady saw that. He brought it up one day in this interview saying that, oh, I got to learn a new language. I've been over here for 20 years. Yeah, bro, you got to learn the language. It takes a very intelligent person to learn that language, man.
Yeah, you have to learn the language, and that's in every team you go to, they have the exact same blocks. They just call them something else. Sometimes they call them the same thing. There's probably 4 or 5 different variations of what something's going to be called.
So from my standpoint, from a defensive standpoint, okay, all right, we got slot 3 over. Okay, I'm thinking I'll go special. Oh no, that's YXZ. Man, it's the same thing.
It's the same thing. I mean? Like on off, like when I went to Dallas, their offense was the same shit we ran in Jacksonville. They just had like maybe 5 or 10 different terms that I had to remember. I had to remind myself they were different because in Jacksonville we used the same term, but it actually meant the opposite of what they use it for. So like a zone protection where everybody turns one way to protect to the right. In Jacksonville, we call Lucky is a turn protection to the right, to our right, with the running back and the tight end going to the left. That's why they call it Lucky. And then
that's
Ricky.
Why held in practice because y'all be trying. Y'all be trying.
Yeah.
I'm like, nah.
So then Ricky is a turn to the left with the running backs going to the right. They're the Ricky. We're turning that way. They're going to the right. So and it's hardest. And I mean, it don't even matter how many times you hear that. You have to think about it twice. When I hear Ricky, I would be like, Ricky. Okay, we're going left. And then I turn to this lineman right here. Hey, we're going left, right? Yeah, we're going left. Okay, cool. Just making sure. And then I get to Dallas, and they're like, Ricky is turn right. And I'm like, wait, Ricky's supposed to be turn left.
Y'all thought I wasn't watching film? I was in the room. Once they gave me the iPad, I was in there chilling like, okay, bet.
Oh, yeah, the iPads changed the game.
Longer me the other day about it. She was like, I just leave you alone because I know you be in there for about an hour and 2 hours and some change. I be sitting there like this right here, like, okay. Oh,
watching stuff, right? I watch all the end zone sideline film of all of whatever team I'm like. This week I'm doing a breakdown on the Cleveland Browns. So I'm gonna do a breakdown on their offensive line. So yesterday I was watching like their first 3 games, like going through their first 3 games, checking out what plays I wanted to check out, see what was different about what they did this year as compared to what they were doing last year. And I usually, because that takes a lot of fucking time, I just go to the stats from last year to see where they ranked and see how they're, how they progressed at the same point last year compared to this season. And, so I watch film, and it's crazy because if there's a NFL Game Pass, you probably got that. NFL Game Pass is a little website. Yeah.
Look, when I tell you, I don't watch Sunday football, Saturday football, Tuesday football, Monday football. I don't watch none of it.
Hey,
I
no,
really
I
don't.
hear you. I hear you. I do. Well, I mean, I do it because I have a channel that I put content on, so
I,
that's why I watch it. Now, I
but
watch it as with
with
the
you, man,
coach's eyes, not with the player's eyes.
yes, that's what I'm saying. That's what people have to understand. That's why I don't like watching it sometimes, because I'm really thinking like, if I am going into coaching, I already know how I'm gonna react. Like, mother, you just like, bro, it's a zig route, it's a read route. Like, why would you go inside when you got four people sitting here? Or on the opposite side, they gave you the outside and you still didn't take the back.
You still threw it in the middle of the field in the double coverage. No, that's all real, man. That's all real. I mean, it's different. Like I said, it's different when you're watching it, and just remembering all the film sessions that I had, as a player, and
Yeah.
trying to, you absorb all this information from coaches who teach you about your position. Like Andy Heck taught us about our position, why we're doing what we're doing, what the defense is doing, why the defense is doing that, what the coverage is meant to stop the offenses from doing, and what we're doing to try and counter that. Tendencies, all those things that we all know that we go over during the course of the season. So now I'm applying those, watching, film on teams as somebody who's not a player anymore. And now I'm a coach in my head. I'm like, that's terrible. That's terrible. That's terrible. Like, but at the end of the day, my audience, they get a better understanding of what it is that guys are supposed to be doing on plays, because the announcers on TV a lot of times, and I'll say probably
Don't start on that
60
part. Ooh,
40
don't start.
60 40, they're not even talking about the right shit at all. They attribute success to the wrong things, and they attribute failure to the wrong things. I'm like, that's not why that play didn't work.
I literally heard one night. I was sitting there. I was like, all right, let me watch the game. I'm chill. I'm gonna relax. Let me just watch the game. And I heard the announcer. I'm sitting listening to the announcer, and it was I don't know what you call it from an offensive standpoint, but I know we call it from a defensive standpoint. It was a spread offense dot offset. And I'm sitting there listening to him. I'm like,
Oh,
okay,
tight end offset or running back offset.
running back offset. It was,
Yeah.
spread 4-2-2. So I'm sitting there looking.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm saying, all right, cool. Let me see. All right. I'm looking at the time. I'm like, okay, yeah, what they on the field? Like, okay, boom. They on that position of the field. Oh, they about to run a dig route because they on the, all right, bet. Man, this dude say they about to run a fly route.
Or they'll be like, oh, this is a great block by this player who was already had his guy on the sideline. They weren't anywhere near the play to have an effect on it. But you're attributing the success of the play to that block. The success of the play was the tackle or the guard who actually reach blocked their outside shade, because if he can't reach block that dude, you're not gaining a yard. You're not gaining an inch.
Oh, man.
or the reason why the quarterback threw the ball so well is because he could step up into the pocket because the pocket had the right depth. There was no pushback. There's a number of different things, and it can go one way or the other. But it's hard to watch. And some of these guys are former players, so I'm like, how do you not know that? Well,
That's the one thing I heard Troy Aikman say one time, and I'm looking like, ain't you a motherfucking Hall of Famer? How the heck? What?
How don't you know that that's not right?
How do you not know this? Come on. Because they was running their bunch set to the backside. And we would call it triples. Triples, tight end off, dot back. And I'm sitting there thinking, if that tight end don't move, we already know we got three options here. He either gonna cut back for the run for the zone, or we got to worry about the backside for the receivers, number three, most likely. Things of that nature. This dude literally said, "Oh, they're about to run a stop route."
They're about to run a stop. What is a stop route? What is that? I never heard of a stop route. But
You mean a read out, bro? I heard him say it, and I couldn't. Nobody can look. Everybody looked at me like I was crazy. I'm like, y'all don't get it. Don't worry about it. Y'all don't get it.
So just to kind of bring it to another couple things that have been going on in the league itself. What do you think about? And I don't not necessarily what do you think about, but if the situation that the NFL is dealing with now with the whole COVID thing was going on when we were playing, what would your or let me frame it like this, and that's what I was trying to think. What would, as a player, would it bother you to go out there and play at all?
No, I ain't going out there. I got a life to live. I got a family to. I ain't putting myself in that situation. Look at the whole situation up there with the guys in Cincinnati. The guys that nah.
So I say that mainly because okay, so on one level you got the NFL where you got guys who are getting paid, and there's going to be an expectation that once they say it's time to go, it's time to go. But players could opt out; they just would have to pay back $150,000 next season. They'd have to pay back $150,000.
150,000 loss. I'm not going to put my life and my family in jeopardy for that because somebody wants to see football.
Boom. So we got that right. Now, what about the college players? That's really where I think the biggest issue has been with just how it was perceived originally, because they're not getting paid. They're not getting paid. They don't. And in order for some of them and at some point, in order to actually go out there and play, you would have to sign a waiver, which means you waive your right to hold them liable if you get sick or anything happens. Now, obviously, we know with statistics, the likelihood not very high, but there's still other complications that can happen and you may have to deal with later on. But that's where I was kind of torn, because I know if I, as a college player, I would have been like, yeah, I'm going to go play. I don't give a fuck. Give me COVID. So what?
But that's why.
But that's the young. That's the young dumb college. Not young dumb, but that's a young man who's playing the sport because he loves it, and solely because he loves it. Who has no other focuses but this sport. In most cases, don't have a family that you got to take care of. You're not getting paid no money. You're going to school for free. Yada yada yada. So of course, if I was 19 years old, I'd have been like, yeah, hell yeah, we going to go play. I don't care about no COVID. But you look up one level higher, and professionals who get paid, who understand that they have risk. They, some opted out, some, and some were not towards playing unless there was structure that allowed them to play safely. And, that's kind of where you see the difference between professional and amateur levels, is that on the amateur level, it's almost like they start pulling on your pride strings to make you want to play. Oh man, it's football, it's our pride, But in the NFL, it's like, yeah, that's my wallet. That's my wallet. So, you either gonna pay me more or I'm not gonna play.
I'm telling you, that exactly. You are speaking the truth right there, my brother. Because with these young guys, they don't understand, and majority of them, it doesn't matter. I know this country is going through the whole black versus white crap, but at the end of the day, everybody has the same issues in that environment. So, with that being said, of course they're gonna try you and say, "Hey, you gotta go play. You gotta go do this. You gotta go do that." Yeah, because you ain't got no responsibilities. You ain't gonna tell me to go out here and risk my life because I got kids.
Got a family. I got I got a contract. I got and this is a little bit off topic from that, but I mean we might as well kind of move this way. That's a reason why Dak Prescott wanted to get paid before the season. He wanted a long-term deal because of what? The risk that he takes being a quarterback on Sundays And he wanted stability in that. Now I know they offered him a deal that was his. I think his franchise tag was. I think it was $30 million. I'm not sure, but
I think 28 or something like that. But I understand where
28
he's
is,
coming from.
but it's 1 year, right? It's 1 year. Like, no,
Yeah.
you don't got no signing bonus. You got to make the roster, which obviously those are given, but still, you just get that 1 year. You don't have any stability. You through 4 weeks of the season, you're the top rated quarterback in the NFL in terms of yardage.
Ignorant running back the money. I don't.
And they gave Zeke a truckload of money, and they was going to hold off on their quarterback. Well, look at what happened to their quarterback. Exactly what he was trying to protect himself against is what happened. He won, and I felt pain for that cat. I felt pain for Dak Prescott when he got hurt, because I knew when I looked at his face and the way that he was hurting from the pain, but in the back of his head he was hurting because this is what the fuck he was worried about, and it happened.
Because that's the problem, because a lot of people don't understand that back end, as far as you say, like the risk factor. The risk factor is what is the biggest factor. I understand football. Oh, okay, yay. I'm like, do you understand? Thinking in my head, do you understand the Roman circus? Like, this dude need to get paid. You know what I mean?
And the crazy part is, they're saying right now that his value won't go down, but come on, dude. He broke his ankle, compound fracture. He has the same injury that Alex Smith had.
Yeah. Yep.
You think that they're going to Alex Smith was on the brink of getting himself a nice little $100+ million contract in Washington, because they were at the top of the division when he got hurt.
And they had the best defense.
And they had a great defense. They had a good team. That was the last time they had a good team. And, yes, they kept him on the squad, but we're talking about now almost what, 700 days later, he's getting his first action. He's not going to be, it would take a season, really, an entire season of starting every game for him to find that real game time rhythm for himself again. Like, to find that level of play that he had. It would take time.
Think about this. Nick Foles came to Jacksonville, signed for whatever $100 million deal.
$88 million wasted.
Gets hurt on the first game.
First touchdown pass. And then he comes back.
That's how you're talking about not playing, man. Y'all crazy.
They dropped him like a bad habit after that. I felt bad for Nick Foles too, because it's like, damn, ain't that some bad luck? Like, you were looking solid all the way through preseason. First game, you're looking, first drive, you're like looking good. And then your first deep ball, touchdown, but your collarbone exploded. You're going to be out 8 weeks. And in that 8 weeks, they found another quarterback that they fell in love with. And as soon as you had a bad game, they said, sit your ass down. Minshew get in the game. Now, Minshew, look, I told people off rip, I don't buy it. Why? Because I have not bought a single Jaguars quarterback since Dave Garrard.
Never.
I have not bought one of them, because they all end up playing the same way. And I think it has a lot to do with how the culture in Jacksonville was. So with Dallas, with Dak Prescott, Jerry Jones is saying that it's going to be the same, but let Andy Dalton have a good season, and the Cowboys got to win a record by the end of the season, and watch what happens.
Oh, yeah. But I already know Dak he will be out of the way. He'll be done. It'll be a done deal. But I know
he'll compete for the quarterback job in training camp, and then if he don't win it, they're going to trade him. Trade him. They'll release him. He only got 1 year deal.
Get the money out, so they'll lose on money. So. Look, the funny thing is when she said that, I'll never forget when we had drafted Bortles. I don't want to disrespect Bortles, but I remember sitting on the side, on the sidelines, and first go first.
Bortles was hot garbage from the start, dude.
Don't judge me, people. But I'm sitting there looking me sitting there, it's me and Ty Wash. DB was D line coach. We sitting there, We posted up, and we're like, all right, here we go. Wait, that's the first round pick? Okay. All right, let's see this. First throw, a 7 route. Is that a duck?
I've never seen a quarterback throw so many ducks in my life as Blake Bortles. Not only have I never seen a quarterback throw so many ducks, I never seen a quarterback throw so many balls in the dirt. Like, I never seen so many one hops from a quarterback. I'm like, dude, what are you doing? Like, I would literally watch him one hop a 8-yard route. I'm like, you've got to be kidding me. This dude just one hop a freaking out route by a tight end. How did you one hop an out route by a tight end? I mean, so there are quarterbacks who get paid a lot of money who don't really have no value. At least they can't hold their value. And then you have a quarterback who held his value for four plus years, and he didn't get no money. About 4 years, he's held his value, increased his value if you're looking at it from a statistical standpoint.
He did.
And they don't want to give him a big deal. And the main reason, again, why every player wants an extension is so that they can focus on just playing. So they don't have to worry about getting cut. They don't have to worry about injury. They can just play ball. Like, the one thing that
they had to tell me to shut up because they already knew I was going to say something.
I mean,
I'm thinking about it. I'm thinking about it now because I'm like, yo. And Todd literally, like, he was sitting next to me on the bench and like, yo, don't you say nothing, boy.
Don't you say nothing. That's the first round pick. You know, the GM up there watching. Don't you say nothing.
And I know, I talk, Caldwell and everything. Like,
Bortles was like, I don't know. I never met the guy. I left Jacksonville right before y'all drafted him, but I mean, from what I've heard, he's a good dude that just don't have great work ethic, and he's a little too nonchalant. I don't know.
I plead the fifth in my Dave Chappelle voice. I plead the fifth.
I mean, look, man, he had one. He with the kind of defense that you guys had in 20, when he was there from 2014 all the way through 2017, the kind of defense that Jacksonville built, you only had to be a game manager. Your defense is damn near going to give you a touchdown every other week. They're going to give you. They're going to give you a turnover every week. So you just have to manage, let the stars be the stars until you figure out how to be a star. And he could never figure out how to be a star. He, that's just what it was. And that's kind of been the story of Jacksonville quarterbacks since David Garrard. They just ain't. David was a star. David was a star. He was a Russell Wilson type without that deep ball without the deep ball. He had a deep ball, but not as good as Russell Wilson. But he was that intermediate passer. He was an intermediate passer. He could extend plays with his legs. He could run the ball. And he had, at his time, he didn't have great receivers until he got Mike Sims Walker. And then, just like that, Mike Sims Walker was gone. They didn't give him no deal. So he was gone. Then they cut Dave. And then, we had Justin Blackman, who was supposed to be the guy. But then he was gone. But Blackman is the best receiver in NFL history that never actually came to fruition. When I was in Dallas, Des Bryant told me himself that Justin Blackman was a better receiver than he was. Easily.
Man, Blackman was a dog. He was legit like a junkyard dog. He was hungry. I don't know what happened in his personal life and things of that nature, but
he's an alcoholic. The Jaguars didn't take care of him.
They took care of him.
Once they realized he had a problem, they didn't take care of him. That's something once they knew he had a problem, they should have had somebody they should have got him a fucking nanny. They should have got him somebody who was going to be with him all the time.
What's funny though, well, not funny, but to me is when I started out, I was lucky to get drafted to Tampa. You know, not lucky, but I was blessed to get drafted to Tampa.
You had Derek Brooks out there.
Yeah, and that's the same thing, you know, with Telvin Smith. It's a story, but because I got him, I got him drafted, and then Brooks got me. It's a story, you know, the brotherhood. But
yeah, Florida State.
You know, the brotherhood how it work. But it's a thing of being around a group of people that are like, you know, the cornerstone. You know, the cornerstones. It's like even when I was in Tampa, you had me, Akib, and Gerald. And they went and drafted Gerald, and the general manager messed all that up. And then you had when I went to Jacksonville. Okay, you got Blackman over here. Okay, Blackman. Okay, Black, do your thing. And when he came back to the game, when he got suspended, we were playing against St. Louis. This man put up 170.
Yeah, dude, what? He put up 200 yards in that game. He put up 200 yards against, I think he put up 200 against St. Louis, and then he put up 200 against Denver the next week.
Yeah, I'm sitting there looking at him, and I'm looking on the sideline. They had to tell me to shut up.
I was over here like, how we lose? How we lose? He had like 200 yards receiving. How we lose? How did we lose? And then we went to Houston. We went to Houston at the end of the season. I was just like, this dude is the best receiver in the NFL on the worst team. Wow.
I'm sitting there. They should have to tell me to shut up. Don't say nothing.
And for everybody in the audience, I know some of y'all might not know the story of Justin Blackman, but you should look that up. It's about as tragic a story and most disappointing a story as you would ever see from a receiver in football. And a lot of it, and look, it was his fault. At the end of the day, you make your decisions. You're a grown man. You make decisions. You prioritize what's important to you. But this was a young man still who was not beyond being needing help. He wasn't beyond needing help. Nobody's beyond needing help. And this dude's a young guy in his first few years in the NFL. He clearly has a drinking problem. You have stipulations in his contract that took away all of his guaranteed money because he had a drinking problem. But you didn't put, I would think, looking at a situation like the Cowboys when they had Pac-Man Jones, they put a security guard detail on Pac-Man Jones that stayed with him 24 hours a day to keep him out of trouble.
Tenard Jackson in Tampa, the same. That's what I'm saying. The same thing. It was the
like,
same
these are
thing.
Teams that realize that they have an investment in a player that they need to protect because he can't protect himself. So they give him somebody to help. They put somebody on him who, at the very least, can keep tabs on him so that you know what he's doing.
And so, funny thing, Jackson could have been the next Ed Reed. It was like, what in the world, bro? Like, just stop.
Dude,
just stop.
Justin Blackman, and I don't think I'm exaggerating when I say this. And some people may not agree, but honestly, for any player who's seen this cat player, who's played with this cat, I don't think I'm exaggerating when I say that he was potential. Had he not had the issue he had, we would be talking about him in the same way. However many years that if he would still be playing right now, he'd probably still be probably still in that prime level. But he was like a Randy Moss. He was like a Randy Moss kind of talent. Justin Blackman was a Randy Moss level talent. I watched this cat snatch balls one-handed, triple covered in the back of the end zone in practice. I'll never forget it. I was like, holy shit. That was a hell of a catch. And I'm blocking, looking like, wow. This guy was a once in a generation receiver talent. Think of the best receiver right now in the NFL. I would put Justin Blackman up against them every day of the week.
No doubt. No doubt about it. No doubt. I wouldn't.
But
Just he came in and did what he did. And after he went through his situation and things of that nature, he had a good practice ethic, everything. But he didn't, honestly, he didn't have to practice. He just give him a helmet and watch him. He going to do what he do because he was just naturally that good.
yeah, I
And
mean, the dude didn't even and you know what's crazy? When he got suspended the first time, they put him on a he could come to the facility, but he obviously couldn't play. This dude gained like 8 pounds. I think it was either 8 or 18 pounds of muscle while he was suspended. And he was visibly like stockier, and he had huge hands. And
you can tell, like he put the work ethic in. Like you can see that he has it whenever he's not over here. And I hope
the dude was
doing great now.
He got big, he got strong, he got faster. And I would take, and I see somebody in the chat here said, oh, and you know what? I'm sorry, I forgot to read this super chat. Hey, this super chat from this comment, not sponsored by Raid, Shadow Legends says, for $5, appreciate that super chat. He says, Derrick Henry just reminded everyone Josh Norman is still in the league. That is true. I know Josh Norman, so I feel comfortable enough to make fun of him for how he got stiff-armed, because it would be Josh Norman who would be the guy to get stiff-armed, the guy who went from being a all-pro cornerback in Carolina, getting a big deal going to Washington, becoming a utter bum in Washington, getting beat by every receiver on your team, just chasing. That's all he did every game was chase. And I know him. I'm cool with him. So I'm not saying it to shit on him, but I'm saying it to shit on him. Like,
I'm working,
of course it would be you who gets picked up and tossed 10 yards into the sideline on Tuesday night, the only game in town. Of course it would be you. And now you're a meme again. He always wanted to be a superstar. Now he got it. Just not the way he hoped. But I appreciate that super chat. This comment not sponsored by Raid Shadow Legends, and I get the irony of your screen name. But he said here, I'd take D-Hop over Blackman. No, you ain't never watched Blackman really play, because that boy. I think Blackman played in like 11 games in his career, and he averaged like 150 yards receiving.
Looking at, bro, this dude was amazing. Like, Jesus, real quick, and I know we've gone pretty long here, but I feel like we're having a good conversation. I'm gonna look up just a few of his highlights real quick. Man, this all you got to do is pull up to St. Louis. That's it. All you got to do is like, yo, what is, bro? He just got back. Literally just got back.
God. Yeah, here we go. I'm trying to decide which one I want to play, because one says Justin Blackman, the NFL's biggest bust. But it's crazy because it's crazy because part of me is like, that's true, but then part of me is like, but that's also not true, because this dude was stupid talented. Okay, so I'm going to share this real quick with the stream so they can see it, and I'm going to turn the volume down. Yeah, I don't think this the quality here is not great, but whoops.
Now, first time coming back, like literally coming back. I'm like,
this is like a quick 2-minute. It's a quick 2-minute video on YouTube that just some of his 2012 highlights. This ain't even the year he came back. You know what? Let me pull that game up. People got to see that.
That man,
people got to see that.
Like,
people got to see those games.
What's going on here?
Okay, so this one. Where is it? Justin Blackman.
And
he ran a 4.21 at the combine.
Yeah, oh, man, he passed by them boys. I'm sitting there like, well, everybody, y'all better get your oxygen tanks, because I see he going.
Oh, dude, it was crazy, dude. This guy, oh my gosh.
We're gonna
All
have to
right,
go back out real quick.
No, I got it. I just have to share this screen. I was just trying to see if there were more videos. This is the oh, I think we lost a little bit of connection there with Gino, but you there? There you
Yeah,
go.
I'm here. Yeah, I had to go out real quick, like I had to tell
Yeah,
the guys
yeah.
on defense, be a game, like we gonna have a quick turnaround. This dude already at like 80 yards.
So, I mean, and this is not great quality by any means, but I'm trying to see if it'll pull up some of his. I want to find that Houston game. That Houston game is really the game. Here we go. Oops.
Man, yeah, that was a game for you right there, boy. Jeez.
This is the Houston game.
I want to get in touch with him, make sure he's good. Jesus.
You know, man, I last I saw he was still having them alcohol issues, dude. Another DUI. But this was the game. He just catches this route, outruns everybody. This game was the last game of the season. He had 176 yards receiving. Every time we throw the ball, first play of the third quarter. This is the first play of the third. Boom, there he goes. Caught that one. Then the next play, he just hit both of them. Gone.
He was a monster. Like, people don't understand.
Like, this dude was a freak. It was like, wait.
To be, like, oh man, I just sat down. Can I get some breath? Good gracious.
We were just throwing the ball, and he just catch it, and he'd be too big for him to tackle.
And the thing was, he's smart too, and that makes it, different too. He's smart, intelligent,
dude, smart. Look at this, just gone.
Hey, you got to remind me.
And look, this is Chad Henne throwing him the ball. Chad Henne.
Oh my God. Of all people, Chad Henne can make it happen.
And not just like Chad Henne, because Chad Henne, he was solid. But he's not, not like he had Tom Brady or Aaron Rodgers tossing him the ball.
But he was chilling with a hat on, making millions.
Oh, you damn right. Hey, he got some good. He got some good pay. Look at this kid, man. Let me find this that St. Louis game. My God.
Just imagine if we find an actual film and like call Perk or somebody and like, yo, I need to get some real film. Like,
no, dude, you can. It's go on to damn it, go on to what's it called? And I mean, I can't. No, go on to NFL Game Pass. NFL Game Pass.
Oh, so
NFL Game Pass. They have it. I didn't realize until literally. I think it was like a couple days ago. They have all of the coaches' film from our 2013 season. They have all the coaches' film from 2010, 11, 12, 13, all the way up to now. They got all the coaches' film and all the game film, like the broadcast film. So the TV film, they got that too. So, dude, it's crazy. I've been watching like all our old games. And I watched the St. Louis game, and Justin Blackmon caught like a 10-yard slant. No, a skinny post, and just split the whole defense, outran everybody 76 yards. He had 214 yards receiving. And then the next week in Denver, he had 200, and they double covered him the entire game. Denver bracketed Justin Blackmon the entire game, and he had 226 yards receiving against them. And we lost. I had no idea how.
And we lost. People don't understand. People just don't understand.
But Blackman's issue was alcohol, for everybody who doesn't know. And, I don't think we're not disrespecting him or anything like that. I love the kid, man. I tried to give him some guidance myself because he had got put in the program. And I was already in the program when he was in there. So I was like, look, man, this is how they're going to do it. So, you need to talk to your testers. And this is before Von Miller got caught fucking switching urine bottles. But I
On
was,
top,
basically
that's
I was
whole
basically
nother-
telling them, oh man, that's a
that's a whole-
whole scandal that the NFL swept under the rug. Because the thing is, it wasn't just Von Miller who was doing that. It was damn near everybody in the drug program who was paying their testers to bring in their own piss.
Hey, look,
Now I'm not saying that I did that.
I'm gonna straight up. I had one dude that had to come, do the random drug test. Hell,
Yeah.
he started washing my.
Oh, dude, that's how they do it. Like they make you turn and face them and piss in the cup in front of them. But the crazy thing was, when you get put in the program, I don't know if I don't know if you've ever been in it, but I was in it, and
I was in it at first, but I always came back.
I was in it my first 2 years because of I failed the piss test my rookie year. But I was telling them like, hey man, our piss testers are cool. Like you need to answer them when they call you. You need to talk to them, get to know them, because he would ignore them, and that's what they would come tell me. They'd be like, hey man, you need to talk to black men because we don't want to put him down as skipping another test because they're going to suspend him. He said, you need to tell him like, he needs to answer our phone call so that we can we'll figure something out. But if he don't answer us, the NFL is going to want to know. And we don't want to put him in that situation. So I went to Blackman and was like, hey man, look, just take the test. Or, I told him on the down low, talk to these cats, throw them a couple thousand and, bring in piss, bro. Like, don't ignore them. They're waiting outside your house for 4 hours. Like, if you ignore them, it goes as a fail.
Yeah, that's definitely true. I had my situation with me and my wife when I was younger, but when I had that situation with them, I made sure that I talked to them and called them and be proactive about it. And he just went about that thing the whole wrong way.
Those dudes are cool dudes. And look, they don't get paid enough to do the job they do. And they know that, and we know that. They get paid $70 per piss test.
The thing is, I wasn't even paying them or anything. It was just more so of me, like you say, just communicating yo, okay, I'm over here.
Flexible. I wasn't paying them, but being 100, I knew when my tests were coming.
Yeah.
I would basically schedule them out and be like, this is the schedule that I'd like to have for my piss tests. And they were cool with it because it allowed them to get their shit done and not have to sit around and wait, 4 hours every time. Because if they hit me up and I'm not at home, I ain't rushing home because I know I got 4 hours. They're going to wait at my house. And whenever I get there, y'all can test me. So, but you take initiative, you talk to the guys, you tell them, hey man, look, I want to make this easy on you, easy on me. Let me know what days you want to come through so I can make sure I'm here. At least, maybe give me like an hour or two heads up or give me a day heads up that you're coming to come the next day so I can make sure I'm available. Because some guys are just totally like assholes to them and don't answer their calls, don't respond to anything. And, and wait till the last 10 minutes before they get counted as a positive and then take the test in the last 10 minutes. That's some bullshit.
At them, no, bro. No, they really was trying to help you out because, well, first of all, you shouldn't have been doing nothing. You good? What's up?
Yeah,
okay.
I mean, but at the end of the day, nobody could have stopped what happened to him except for him. As much as people looked out for him, it still came down to him. I just felt like for the investment you made in the 3rd overall pick in the draft, you should have, as a franchise, said, hey, let's at least do everything from a practical standpoint that we can do to make sure that at least we're minimizing the chance for him to make a dumb decision. Because, dude,
we had a situation, not a situation, but I got to know him more and more when we went to London. And I was talking to him, man. Him went out, we were just hanging out. And I'm looking at him like, bro, you should not be drinking. And I said, bro, here goes some cucumber water and some lemon water. Bro, drink that. You don't need to be drinking anything.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Because they're piss testing you for alcohol. Like that's what they piss testing you for, alcohol. So what? So don't be drinking. Like I was getting piss tested for marijuana, but I wasn't smoking. I could drink. I got drunk and then took a piss test, and I was good because they're not testing me for alcohol. They tested me for marijuana. So
Exactly.
you know, and I knew it was bad. I didn't know how bad it was. I went and when I spoke to him the first time about like, hey man, work with these testers, I didn't know how bad it was. I figured out how bad it was when an owner of a club in Jacksonville at the beach called me and was like, hey man, do you know anybody that, either you or somebody on the team that can come get Blackman? Because he is blacked out, linked up against the wall in our bar, and we're closed. And like, we can't, he's just like, he's not responding to none of us. He's just stood up against the wall, like standing up, drunk, blacked out drunk. And I was like, whoa, what are you talking? What? Justin Blackman, the receiver? Like, we just had a game. This is Sunday night. We already played. So this is Sunday night.
He's done. I'm back at the crib with my wife and kids.
Everybody's chilling. Like, I'm too tired for all that shit. I smoked a blunt and took my ass, and sat down and chilled out after the game. So
I was chilling.
So I'm like, it's like almost 2 a.m. because my phone rang like twice. I'm like, God damn, who calling? And it's a club owner that I knew. And I'm like, damn. So I call our head of I call Skip. I called Skip and was like, I said, hey, Skip, Skip, hey man, look, Blackman is blacked out at what was that spot called? Ocean Club. Ocean Club. Blackman is out cold at Ocean Club. The owner just called me, said he is like, they can't get him to move. Like, and the only thing they can do now is call the cops. Like, hey, he said, Uche, don't worry about it. I got it. I'm gonna handle it now. I'll call you later. Click, hung up. I was like, don't nobody even know about that. Nobody even knows about that situation.
Ty, I'm like, not Ty, but I hit up Mike. And Mike hit me up because I had to do something with my legs and everything. And I hadn't talked to Mike. He retired too.
Yeah. I talked to Mike Ryan a few times since he was on a board, a committee board that kind of oversaw some medical training stuff with the NFL for a few years. Yeah, but I expect he's retired now. Mike Ryan was a good dude, and I respected that dude a lot.
Respect my whole lot. Him, Skip, man, that whole man, they are cool.
Those were guys who were there from day one in Jacksonville.
Yes. Skip's still there, but it's just like what you say with Blackman, man. It was just like, bro, because they used to get kind of funny with me, like, yo, you ain't going out tonight? Hell no, I ain't going nowhere. I'm going to the house.
When you play like 60, 70 plays, you like, nah, I ain't going nowhere. Nah, I used to meet up with Mojo for like, we would go to like a bar for like literally 30 minutes. We'd each kill like a beer, a shot. Then we just be like, man, I'm done. It's like 11 o'clock. Be like, man, I'm to the house. I'm out. Let's go. We ain't giving fuck if we won or lost. We didn't care. Shoot. It was just that, you spend a couple hours, you spend like an hour releasing, unwinding with teammates over the game, and then everybody go to fuck home. Uh-oh. I think we
you got me back.
Yeah, I got you back. Audio. Video hadn't popped back on yet.
Dang it.
But no, man. Like, it's crazy because that year was just a weird year because Blackman came back and then was suspended right again and done. That was it for his career. A lot of people
kept doing what he shouldn't have.
Just kept making the same mistakes. Yeah, just kept making the same mistakes. So at a certain point, I mean, and that's just such a big. It was a huge loss because that's 3rd overall pick. The talent was there. You see it. You see all the tools to be to have a long, prosperous career in the NFL. And it just fell apart before he didn't even get 1 season of work in. But that's how it is. There's a lot of stories like that. It's just a lot of those guys don't have the kind of talent, don't have the kind of ceiling that a guy like Blackman had. So you don't really hear about it, but for us players who lived through it, we know about a lot of things that happen that you're just not going to hear about on on ESPN or anything like that, because to a degree, because
it makes the bad.
Yeah, the team does not want that want that kind of exposure. And in Jacksonville, where barely anybody's watching to begin with, if that makes national news, then that's going to be a problem.
I'm not gonna go there with. I'm not gonna go there with you.
I'm not shy about that. I have constantly, and I will continue to critique the Jaguars based on reality. They're fucking terrible, and they're terribly managed, and it's terrible management that has consisted or been consistently present in that organization since when Wayne Weaver owned it. And I mean, this is before you came to Jacksonville, Gino, but I know, bruh, I've been through I went through 3 rebuilds in Jacksonville. 3 rebuilds.
Look, and right now you already know. I don't know if you know this, but you know that Shad Khan put his yacht up for sale. I'm like,
oh, he put it up for sale. He put it up for sale. He used to just rent it to people.
Yeah, he put it up for sale. So I'm like, oh crap.
He's trying to recoup some of that bread. He bought the Jaguars with a personal check, dude.
I know.
He wrote a personal check for $779 million to buy a franchise.
Look, I think he's gonna try to put Tony in charge, because that's why he's been slow to let Tony do his thing.
And Tony, look, I'm not, Tony, look, I respect Shad Khan to the utmost, because he is the American dream, bro. He reminds me of my parents, because my parents came to this country with nothing and made their way and became successful. And he did the same thing.
Shad gave me the idea of, like, literally when he used to come in with some suede shoes on. I'm like, bro, you know what? I never really got me a pair of suede shoes. He used to be so fly with it.
The first time I met Shad Khan, dude, the first day that he got in town, they had me, Brad, Maurice, Blaine. Was it Blaine? Yeah, Blaine. And a couple other guys come to the stadium to meet him, because he had just got in from wherever the hell he was. I don't remember. But when I first took a look at this dude, I was like, damn, okay. He had long hair, dude, just hanging down, curly. He had on this nice-ass leather jacket. He had on some nice-ass boots. I was like, man, them boots look fly as hell. I was like, this is a cool dude. And he had that look like, what's up? He was shaking everybody's hands. He was just like real smooth, like, and I'm like, okay, this dude is real deal. We got a real deal owner right now. Like, this is a different kind of owner. This isn't like Wayne Weaver was, no disrespect to Wayne Weaver. Still got respect for him, but that's old white folks owning the team. Old white owner. Yeah. Like, okay, we all know what that looks like. But this dude, Pakistani dude, had a nice little swag. He looked like a European cat with swagger, straight swagger. I was like,
he walked in that thing. I'm like,
he was dripping. He was dripping when he came in there. I was like,
oh, okay, right. You got me on some. You put games just then.
Hey, we met him. Then we went out to the pep rally in the stadium with him, and I was just like, okay, Jags might be about something with him as the owner. And and look, the Jaguars built something and then they ruined it the same way they did when I was, before you got there. From my rookie year to from my rookie year to my fifth year in Jacksonville, I witnessed them ruin the franchise 2 times. 1, they fired Shaq Harris. 2, they hired Gene Smith. 3, they let Gene Smith draft our players for the next 3 years after that. He released everybody on our playoffs team, cut them all, and started drafting. Dude, he got rid of this is the dude who didn't. This is the dude who got rid of Mike Peterson. He got rid of.
It make you think hard when you think about it, don't it? It just pisses you off thinking.
When you witness a franchise get torn down brick by brick, when you actually see it happening, it's a different feeling, dude. Like there was a point when he brought in Mike Mularkey as our head coach, when I was literally on the verge of like asking to be traded. I was like, we went 2-14 that year, dude. 2-14. I told my agent, if this motherfucker ain't fired by the time free agency starts, I want to be traded. I swear to God, get me out of Jacksonville. I will not play another season with him as our head coach. To this day, that is the only coach in my career that I literally. Now, I don't hate him as a person. I respect him as a human, as a man. He's whatever. As a coach, he's the only person in the NFL that I hate. I hate Mike Mularkey.
Think about me
as a coach.
Just thinking about. I'm sitting there thinking like I can literally go over here and get like $5 million, but they won't let me out of my contract.
Dude, I was asking my agent, dude, how do I get out of this contract? Like, what can I do? Like, how do we because he knew what I was going through. I injured my knee at the beginning of the season, and I tore my meniscus and I tore cartilage. And they told me that they weren't going to let me get surgery until the end of the season. They said it's not going to get any worse. So I played an entire season on a torn meniscus and torn cartilage. I was drugged up the entire season, dude. I played every practice. I had anti-inflammatory medicine that I would take. And before every single game, I took a shot of Toradol before Wednesday practice. I took a shot of Toradol before Thursday practice. I took a shot of Toradol before the game. And if I didn't have a shot of Toradol, I was not playing. And I told them that. I said, because they were like, look, we can't give you shot of Toradol because that was at the time when they stopped Toradol, shots of it. Right?
Yeah, they
so they start giving you like a pill, just ibuprofen or some shit, right?
Yeah,
dude, I hit my doctor up. I hit my doctor up in Arizona, and I said, "Look, send me a box of Toradol." He sent me a box of like 50 vials of Toradol. I would take a shot. I would give myself a shot before practice and before a game. I could not play otherwise. I couldn't do it, and they wouldn't tell the media because the media started asking, what's wrong with Uche? Because there was a couple times during the season when like my shit got rolled up on and it that pain was just too much to the Toradol couldn't hide that pain. So they were like being hush with the media about what my injury was, but they knew what my injury was because they saw when it happened the first day of training camp when it happened, and they were like, "Oh, Uche's got an injury, yada yada yada." And then all of a sudden they're not saying nothing the whole season. Then at the end of the season. After the season ends, all of a sudden I got surgery and I'm out 6 to 8 months. So now the media is like, whoa, what kind of injury did he have where he's out 6 to 8 months? Well, I had my knee was torn, like the same thing that Todd Gurley has. That's the same shit I had. Same shit I had.
That's why when I got retired, I went and I made sure I had my private doctor and everything.
Oh, dude, I got every cent out of that fucking out of that line of duty. Every cent, and I'm getting that total and permanent.
Don't tell them about that part now, because that's what I'm trying to get. I'm trying to get that TV.
Hey, but here's the secret: get your disability through the government, and then the NFL is obligated to honor it 100% for your total and permanent.
Yeah, because I know that's what I've been working on.
Because if you go through the NFL, they're going to put you through all these hoops, and then they're going to deny you. It happens to multiple players all the time, every year. You go to the government. Social Security. You go through Social Security disability, and that automatically triggers NFL full total and permanent coverage. So you get you really end up getting like 20 to 30,000 a month.
We ain't talking no numbers. We don't need nobody to know these numbers. No.
Oh, hey, but it's real though, because they owe us that, bro. They owe us that for the shit that they put players through. They owe players that.
No
they
doubt.
owe players that. Like they try too hard to deny you from getting those benefits. That's where I get pissed off, because it's like, why y'all trying to keep a player who has, it's not like I was a 2-year player or a 3-year player who just barely got vested. Like I was 7-year player, 8-year player, 7 years vested. Like, no. And I started 100 games. Like, no, y'all gonna give me all my money.
I'm set. That's what I'm saying. Like, I put that money up. I ain't worried about none other money for the kids. You know what I'm saying? I ain't worried about that.
Exactly. That money is I can't do nothing with the money the money that I made. That's for my kids. That's in accounts that I can't even fuck with. But this disability money, y'all gonna give me that, because that's what I'm gonna be living off of every month, is that disability. Shoot, because that's fair. Y'all, I'm a part of why the league is what it is today, and that's for every player who has played in the NFL. You're a part of why the NFL is what it is. So take care of players, because that's what they're owed. We don't get we only get the 5 years of the health care. So it's gonna start costing us money after that anyway. I pay for my health care now.
Well, you got to do the HRA. That's $150,000 in there. But
man, that HRA is some bullshit. The HRA is bullshit. It's not like you got access to that money. You have to pay for it yourself, whatever you get done, and then they give you that money back as reimbursement. So you're not getting nothing out of that. You're getting it, but it's in a backwards kind of way. They're giving it back to you.
Yeah, true that. That's why I'm saying I'm trying to figure out how to get that TMP, because I know for a fact people got mad at me. They asked me the other day about that. They was like, "Yo, why don't you have to go work?" I'm like, I make, if I want to, 58 right now, just chilling.
Yeah, just like right now, just on my line of duty, the line of duty benefit. I mean, that's $54,000 a year. I get that. So I get that for the rest of my life. And then you got then our pension. We ain't even got to our pension. We don't get our pension until we 45, right?
Exactly.
So I don't know. Have you that's another $4,000.
Have you been paying attention to the virtual tutorials? Because I've been watching those a lot. They've been doing a lot of things on there, and
on our benefits.
Yeah,
they got talking about the Legends community shit. The Zoom conference calls they be doing.
Yeah. I be learning. I be watching and learning from them. It's a lot that I can get done, but that TMP is like you can literally make about 140.
Yeah, the TMP will give you really good money, but you just can't have and there's still stipulations for it. You can't make income. Yeah. Your income can't be more than like $15,000 a year to keep it.
Exactly.
So you can't. So obviously you ain't working. You know what I mean? We're retired. I'm not gonna go work no motherfucking 9 to 5 for what? No, I've never even had a 9 to 5. I don't even know what that is. Like, I've never in my life. I worked at McDonald's when I was 16 for 2 weeks, and that was the only time I've ever worked a job in my life.
Bro, I have never worked 9 to 5, like ever. Ever in my life, my whole game.
And that's no disrespect to anybody who has a 9 to 5. People who have 9 to 5 careers, all respect to you. Just in our world, the life we lived and came up in, that just was never the option. But on the flip side of that, it's a double-edged sword. Our career our careers are done before we're 40. You're gonna have your 9 to 5 until you're 65. So, there's still a ebb and flow to that, but we have to maximize our time because it's short. Average career in the NFL is 2.8 years. So
you make it 5 to 6, 7 years, boy. Hey, you good. Just keep.
if you get 4 years or more in the NFL, you've accomplished what 98% of the NFL of other NFL players don't accomplish. You know what I mean? Like, there's only 1,900 players in the NFL. But of those 1,900, I would say like 500 total are like core NFL players who are going to play longer than 5 years, 4 or 5 years, maybe 500 guys. Like, that's real. Because every team only has like maybe 10 guys that are really core players.
Yeah. So in my Bernie Sanders voice, that 1% is going to get, but don't tax me $45,000 off of one check.
Hey, and that's another thing that a lot of people don't even understand about our lives. And this is even true today for all the players in the NFL now. You know how much they're getting taxed? Look, I'm not, not to get political. I'm not a Trump fan, but I tell you what, I take the tax break. I will damn sure take the tax break. Shoot, because when we were playing, dude, remember when we were playing? And it was 43%. 39% federal, 4% healthcare. So Medicare. So we were paying 43% out of every check. So every check a player got was only half of what they really made. And so you look at a player's contract, it says 50 million, but really he's making 25 million. And then on top of that, he's giving 3% more to his agent. So you take 3% off his 25, and of that 25 million, he's only really getting 4 million a year. So that 4 million is really 2.5 million. And then take 3% off of that because you're subtracting federal from his 4 million. And that 4 million turns to 2.5, and then you take 3% more to give to your agent, and then you got league dues. You pay league dues.
Yep.
So I don't remember exactly what the percentage was on that, but you still pay that every week too. So generally, you're giving up 50% of your check, and you still have to pay for everything going on in your life. So it looks like you got a lot of money. It looks like that for a lot of people who look at players' contracts and say, oh, well, you got millions. No, on paper, it says I have millions. But if you start breaking down the numbers, it gets chopped down fairly quickly.
But that's why I tell people all the time that I think they should always make sure that player contracts are private. If you can make a prison privatized, you can make the contract private because nobody needs to know.
Because nobody should know what I'm making personally. Just the same way as I'm not going to look at another player's paycheck in the locker room. They put all our paychecks in envelopes that are sealed, right?
Yes.
Exactly. So every player in there knows it's taboo to like look at another player's paycheck. That's taboo. Like, you don't do that. That's rude and that's disrespectful because look, he getting paid, but he getting paid. You getting paid, but you getting paid. What are you going to do if he's getting paid more than you? Ain't nothing you can really do to change that. You know what I mean? Other than just play better and maybe get a bigger deal, but depends on what position you play too. You know what I mean? So
that part you just said, position,
depends on what position you play. Like I was a guard, and I got a good contract for a guard because guards generally made like when I was playing, my contract put me at 10th highest paid offensive lineman, 10th highest paid offensive lineman at that time. And I was making 4.5 million new money every year before taxes. But guards typically like I don't remember. Did you know Vince Manawai? Did you know Vinny?
Yeah, I know Vinny.
Okay, you knew Vinny. Yeah. R.I.P. to Vinny. But he was making like 3.5, which, before I got my deal, I was like, shit, I want to just make what Vinny making and I'm good. And they gave me more, but still, even with all of that, the contract's only guaranteed for 3 years out of the 5.
Mm-hmm.
So they backloaded the contract.
Backloaded.
So
I
the
was
contract
say,
was $30 million, but 12 of the 30 was on the last year of the contract, which meant I needed to hit my incentives to try and make some of that back. I hit all my incentives in the first year of the contract. So they started having to give me 1.5 every March, which is part of why they let me go, is that they didn't want to keep giving me that 1.5. Because the last year of it, they were going to have to give me $3 million and then pay me $12 million on top of it.
That's how they operate. That's exactly how they operate.
So that's how the money game in the NFL can get complicated because players don't really have unless you are a marquee player. And trust me, the only marquee player on the O-line is the left tackle, and that's not because the left tackle it's a premier position, but the left tackle can be garbage and get paid a ton of money. Look at Tampa Bay's left tackle. Donovan Smith is garbage, but he gets paid a ton of money. And he's terrible. I did a breakdown on him, dude. When I tell you he could not start in Jacksonville against Eugene Monroe, he could not for a second play over Eugene Monroe in Jacksonville. And they would not pay Eugene a dime in Jacksonville. They traded him. But Donovan Smith is not even close to Eugene Monroe's skill. And he's getting paid $41 million because he's at a premier position. Now his right tackle is probably better than he is. His right tackle on film after in my breakdowns was better than him, but he's not getting paid near. It's the rookie. It's Wirfs.
Yeah, he can play both sides.
Yeah, Wirfs can play both sides, and Wirfs is probably better at left tackle than he is at right tackle. But they can't put him over there because that cat's making too much money. And the thing is when I got my contract extension, it was the year that the NFL lockout happened. So it was funny. I was in the same kind of situation that Dak Prescott was in. My agent was like, Jacksonville's offering $30 million. You can take this $30 million and be good, but you're gonna be here in Jacksonville. And he already knew, and you know, a lot of Jacksonville fans don't know this, but he already knew that I kind of wanted to get out of Jacksonville. But I also had a strong loyalty to Jacksonville because they drafted me. And I really, in my culture, when somebody gives you an opportunity like that, you know, you're loyal to that. You are loyal to what they've allowed you to become. So I was loyal to Jacksonville because they gave me an opportunity and drafted me to be on their team. And then they gave me an opportunity to be a starter, and they recognized my talent, and they offered me an extension. But I was like, I want to go San Diego, I want to go Pittsburgh, I want to go Dallas. Those are the 3 teams I want to go look at in free agency. If there was no lockout, I wouldn't have stayed in Jacksonville. I would have left. But he was like, we can take that risk, and you can just deny the extension, play out your last year on your rookie contract, and then go get paid probably about 20 to 25% more money somewhere else. But there's a downside to that. If there's a fucking lockout, then you're going to be waiting until probably right before next season to get a contract. So, you know, as a going into my 4th year player, a player who's only, you know, been in 3 years, I'm like, shoot, I don't know if I'm gonna have enough money to last me until the start of next season. I only made like $600,000, like, and now I mean, shoot, that's gonna get cut in half, obviously with taxes, but I you know, my decision was basically just do you want to risk getting hurt and get bigger money at the end of the offseason, not at the beginning? Or do you want to take the contract now, be solid, and, you know, you don't have to worry about the lockout? Because a lot of players are going to be worrying about this lockout because they're not going to be able to get the contracts they want. And they're going to have to wait almost the entire offseason to have a chance to get money. I said, fuck it. I'll take the contract as long as Jacksonville guarantees me something. Like, I don't want just a signing bonus. I want like guarantees, because my agent's thing was that none of the finance guys for the NFL teams, because of the situation with the CBA, they really didn't know how to structure a contract, because there was no rules to really guide them going forward past this season. So they just guaranteed the first 3 years of my contract. And that ended up being what all NFL teams started doing for guys who signed right before the lockout, is that they guaranteed the first 3 years. You can't cut me. You can't cut me if I play bad or if I get injured. So I was like, so basically I can just kind of just go out here and just do whatever I want, right? For the first 3 years, which, I mean, of course, that's not how I played it, but that was stability for me. So I said, all right, cool. I'll take it. You can't cut me for 3 years out of my 5. And boom, they put mad incentives in it. And they didn't think I was going to get them, but I got them because I got all AFC South 2 years in a row. I got ESPN's NFL Pro Bowl snub team. I got fucking, I played more percentage time than I did the previous year, which was like 98% to 99% that I had to get to initiate that incentive. So there was a lot of things they put up there to try and like keep the money from getting too crazy, but I got all of them in the first year. So then it made the back end of my contract. It actually added $5 million more dollars onto the back end of my contract. So when they released me, that's where I was like, fuckers didn't want to give me my bonuses, and they didn't want to pay me that $12 million that they were going to have to pay me going into my last year. So
that's why they got
that was that. But yeah, man, I think we've pretty much gone through the whole gamut of things. We're hitting 2 hours, 11 minutes right now on the podcast. I really appreciate everybody who's here on the audience. You guys have been great. I'm glad y'all are enjoying it. You know, me and Gino here, we're old teammates. We old heads. We're just speaking about, a lot of the truths of the NFL, just you might not hear in other places, because, we're not, I'm not some media cat. I'm not one of them NFL cats who goes in and becomes a media cat and now is just basically talking, basically towing the line on the things that the NFL wants to hear on a daily basis. We just talking about what's real. Like, the NFL will eat you up and spit you out. And there's a lot of dirty politics in the NFL, because there's a lot of egos and people who think that they know the game on a deeper level than what it really is. We really just playing football. It's not that complicated. They make it more complicated by fucking with people's money and fucking with people's livelihoods. What's his name? Le'Veon Bell just got released by the Jets. They just released him. They said, fuck every dollar that you were supposed to get. Now we're not giving you nothing, because he's mad because he's playing for a team that sucks. I mean, that's how
team I quarterback, and I'm literally meaning that. I mean, I was baffled because we would have the best defense with the worst quarterback, and the quarterback took up at least about 90% of the whole pot.
Yeah,
and we'll be the first one hurt.
Mm-hmm. And the last one to get cut. That's the crazy part. The quarterback is the one they give the longest leash to. This dude has been a bum for 4 years, and it's not even like y'all released him. He played his whole contract.
People don't know. They don't know.
People don't know, man. It's crazy. There's so much dirty politics in football that, there are guys who have put, and I think I was one of those guys who really was just playing, who played loyal to the franchise that he was with. Like, I was loyal to Jacksonville. I'm a Jacksonville fan. Like, that's my team, because it's the only team I really played for. So for me, I have a loyalty because of the opportunity they gave me and what it's given my life. But, at the same time, people ask me about, how I about how things work behind the scenes there. It's terrible. It's never been good. It was good when they had Jack Del Rio. It was good when we had Jack Del Rio. Jack Del Rio just couldn't get us back over that hump into the playoffs. He got us there, but didn't get us over the hump to get us back into it. We were knocking on the door every year.
I remember Jack Del Rio when I had to go over to the Denver Broncos and they wanted, do a contract or whatever. And we were sitting there talking, just having a conversation. And, I had to, you have to go on the board, and break down what they say,
You gotta draw up plays, talk about plays, all that shit. Yeah.
I went into very, very deep details. He was like, "Man, who taught you this?" I said, "Man, I came from Monty Kiffin."
Oh, yeah, you came from Monty Kiffin, the best defensive coordinator in the last era of football. I mean,
it was. I got a Hall of Famers. I had to work with Monty Kiffin.
You had a pedigree. You had a stable of NFL defensive royalty helping coach you into the player that you would become. Like you had Derek Brooks. Dude, I idolized Derek Brooks. I was a huge Tampa Bay fan growing up with that because of that defense.
Look, you know what? The funny thing, I'm gonna tell the story. That's the funniest story about Derek Brooks. Derek Brooks is my big homie. Always, he always send me a message on a daily basis, probably most of the time. But when I got drafted, because I had to, get his permission to wear his jersey number in college. So when I walked into the room with everybody else that was in the room, when rookies go in and meet the vets and he had the first meet, things of that nature, he went and put the chair and said, "You sitting right here." And I literally was like, "Okay." Everybody else got mad though.
He took you under his wing.
Yeah, he took me right up under there. I'm like, wow, okay. So I'm sitting next to my idol. Every day. Every day I'm sitting next to my idol. And then I started learning more and more about Monty Kiffin, Rob Marinelli, Tony Dungy. I mean, you name it. And I'm sitting there like, I can't believe I'm in this position.
Yeah, dude, it's crazy because there were moments in my career when I was like, oh my God, I can't believe that I'm on the same field as Brett Favre, Derek Brooks, freaking Tom Brady, Warren Sapp, all these cats who I was watching when I was young. I was watching these guys. Junior Seau, my rookie year, we played against the Patriots in the playoffs, second round, and I'm like, that's Junior Seau. That's Junior Seau. Rest in peace to Junior Seau. I mean, a lot of legends, but that's the part that is like the dream come true, right? That's the part that's the once in a lifetime aspect of it.
Yeah,
it's a part of it, and everybody's grateful for that. That everybody who's been able to enjoy that. So there's give and take on each, for everything in our career, the careers that we had. Like, I would have loved to have been in the postseason more times. I would have loved to have had an opportunity to play in a Super Bowl or get a Pro Bowl, get voted into the Pro Bowl. Like, yeah, I would have loved those things, but it wasn't in my cards because partially of where I was at. But I know my peers respected my ability on the field. My peers told me, I talked to guys would come up to me after games and tell me, and that's where that's where my pride in being in the NFL really is. Not that I made it to the NFL and just, I was living the life, this and that. It's that at the end of the day, the people who played at the same time I played recognize what I do on the field and how well I did it. And they made me aware of that. And that meant more to me than any money you could pay me.
Look, and the funny thing was, oh man, it's funny you bring that up because I remember we had a situation down in Tampa. They was trying to play the little dog. Well, it's a bone out here. Whatever dog get it. And
Yeah.
it was versus me and Quincy Black, and that's when Raheem Morris was coaching Tampa Bay, and we were sitting there talking. He called me on the phone. We sitting there talking about it. He said, "All right, man, you got a bone. It's up to you. What you gonna do?" And I'm like, "Okay, it's on you. Whatever." And, I don't know if you remember Quincy Black, but he looked like,
Yeah.
and he looked
Quincy
like
Black, the linebacker, right? 56, I think his number was.
yeah, like that. But he looked like the part. Like he looked like the linebacker. And I'm the guy walking in like slim, quick, fast.
They think you undersized, but they don't know about, it's not about undersized, it's about where's his leverage at, where's his explosion at. That's what will decide whether he's really capable of playing the position. I mean, yeah, definitely. You had that.
We're playing Green Bay, and we had to do like the whole you get this quarter and you get that quarter. Okay, so I get in the game. First thing walk up to me is Aaron Rodgers. Oh, the playmaker in the game now. Bet. Thank you.
Gotta make a play.
So that right there meant so much to me because that let me know that I already knew, where they were at on my end, because that let you know that they've been studying you.
Yeah. No, dude, I remember, a couple of times, like players on the defense from Tennessee would come holler at me after the game, right before we go in the locker room, like, "Hey, man, keep doing your thing. We've been, you balled out. We've been seeing you all year on film," which was cool because, I mean, you want to hear that these guys see the talent. They see what you're doing. But the one where I was like, okay, now I really am. I'm proud to hear somebody say that right there was when we played San Diego. This was 2013. Yeah, when we played San Diego and we got blown the fuck out.
Diego, because I remember that damn all go sit. Oh man, I'm getting right. Eddie Roy pissed me off.
Yeah,
I was so mad.
we got blown out. And, at the game's over with, I say what's up to Nick Hardwick because we were teammates at Purdue and shake hands with a couple cats. And I'm starting to walk back towards, our side of the field to go to the locker room. One of the offensive linemen from the Chargers comes over and grabs me by the shoulder and, turns me around. He's like, "Hey, man, just want to say, keep doing what you're doing, dude. We've been watching a lot of Jaguars film because we play against the AFC South this year, and we've been watching you out there balling. We've been watching you out there balling against every top tier D lineman you go against. So, I know you guys are losing right now, but man, hey, just stay focused, keep doing what you're doing because we see it, and we're in San Diego." And I'm like, you know what? Hell yeah, I appreciate that. Like that really did. That's when I was really proud about just just playing hard and continuing to play regardless of whether we're a winning team or not. And I think those are the moments I'll never forget because more than accolades, which are a lot of times voted on more in popularity than actual like value as a player.
Yeah, work.
This is your peer, your other lineman who's coming over and telling you that their entire room sees that you've been balling. There shouldn't be no doubt in your mind that you're balling now because this is coming from people who are playing a different division on the other side of the country, but they've been seeing your film in particular because of the division that they're playing, that they play against this, the outer division games. So that was huge for me, man. And I think that, again, those are the moments that for players, you're not going to hear about that or see that on ESPN. You're not going to hear about that on Fox NFL Sunday because those are just interactions that players have one-on-one with each other that are really the most meaningful interactions you can have.
That's true. And I know for a fact it happened to me multiple times is even going versus my first time ever playing against Tom Brady. He was like, okay. That was a whole different story right there. We can do that. We can talk about that one for a whole nother time. But the funny thing
No.
was, like I was saying, we had this, split time, and towards the end of the year, we switched back to the old Tampa 2,
Mm.
and I became the middle linebacker. So we can roll it around how we play it, and next thing you know, I'm over here looking like 190 tackles, because they don't give you all the tackles on TV. They'll tell you, "Oh, you ain't got a tackle, you ain't got this." No, but you look on the film, it's like, wait, he literally had 15 tackles this game.
Oh yeah, the film after because the team turns in your stats every week. I mean, you know how that works. So like with mine,
Yeah.
I think the most, and for O-line, it's always sacks. Like you're always counting. So I had my the year that I got my contract extension. Well, no, the year before my contract extension, when my agent decided, like, hey, we need to talk to them about getting an extension, because you just had an entire season where you gave up half a sack on an entire season, and the offensive line gave up 45 sacks, and you gave up half a sack. So I was like, half a sack for real? I could have sworn I gave up more. It was like, no, you gave up half a sack, and I gave up 18 pressures. 18 pressures on the entire season, half a sack on the entire season. But I think the season, as far as sacks, the season that I gave up the most sacks would have been the year that I was injured before I had my surgery. I gave up 4.5 sacks that year. And I was like, and I counted them, and I was like pissed. I would be pissed during the game.
Mad. I was mad. I was like, I was like at 120 tackles. I missed literally 10. And I'm like, yo, I missed 10 tackles.
I gave up 4.5 sacks, but I didn't give up any sacks through like the first 8 or 9 games. And then we played against Tampa. I gave up 2 sacks against Tampa, and I had 3 holding calls. I was like, what? And we blew Tampa out. I was like, what the fuck what am I doing?
What year is this?
That was 2011. 2011.
Oh, I was there. Yeah, I was there.
Yeah, you was there. Dude, it was crazy.
I remember the game. I remember that game. I remember the game now.
We were in Jacksonville.
That's when we was going through the switch with Raheem and trying to get from John Gruden and Raheem trying to get everything together, and everybody was trying to figure out the scheme. Okay, I remember that game. Yeah, I remember that game.
Yeah, it was, dude. It was like my worst game of my career, but it was the crazy part about it was that it was actually, I was having a great game until the third quarter. The third quarter, I got 3 holding calls, and I gave up, by the end of the game, I gave up 2 sacks. I was like, this game went from like feeling like it was going to be an easy breezy day. Even though we're blowing out Tampa Bay, I'm over here panicking like, shit, I done gave up another sack. What's happening to me? Like, and then it's like,
look, you over there,
referee hit me with the flag.
I'm trying to figure out, what's going on, man? What we doing? All these calls. Oh no, that scheme, they run a zone scheme. I'm like, they ain't running no goddamn zone screen. They running right at us.
Oh,
literally running directly at us.
We were just running. We're a dive power.
Like, no, y'all are directly running at us.
And that was Mojo.
Yeah,
that was
running
Mojo's
directly at us. Like,
I think that was Maurice Jones-Drew's first year getting to the Pro Bowl too. So that was he had a hell of a he had a hell of a year. And I was so pissed because it just was like from the third quarter to the fourth quarter was like the worst half of football I've ever played. And the holding calls I didn't agree with because I was actually blocking the shit out this bum, and he just flailed his arms up trying to run away from me. So they threw the flags. But one of them was
LeBron. He put a LeBron on you.
Well, one of them was absolutely a hold. One of them was a hold. I'll give him one because I was about to give up a sack. And I said, no, I will not give up a sack. Hold you and tackle you, and we'll take this 10-yard penalty, but I'm not giving up the sack. Like I have a hard time just letting the cat get the sack. I'm going to hold the shit out of you. you're not going to get
I
there.
had to explain this. I had to explain this to some people a while back because I broke down some tape from way back in 2006. Wait, no, yeah, 2006 versus Miami in college. And I was out on the field by myself while the offense is running onto the field. And I had to save Mickey Andrews. And I just went up there and said, you know what? I'm going to give up this first down. I want to knock the ball off the line of scrimmage. We'll take the offside. Come here.
Yeah.
Come on.
Like, hey, as an offensive lineman, it is like an unwritten rule. If you know that you've been beat on a pass set and you can stop him from sacking the quarterback by holding him, do it.
Stop it. Stop
Tackle his ass. So what? You're going to get a penalty, yes, but you're not going to lose it down, and you're going to lose about as many yards as you would have lost giving up the sack. So tackle him. And that was one of the few times in my career where I was like, this cat just hit me with a nice move that I was not expecting. I didn't see it on film, and I was kind of out of position. So I said, fuck that. I grabbed him by the inside of his shoulder pad, grabbed him by his back, and just dragged him to the ground. I got dirty with him. I was fuck it. And just pulled him down. And I was like, hey, I'll take that.
Hey, you know, the funny thing is when I got done, because the very next play, we got a pick. And we got the pick on the way back. And I get to the sideline. And Mickey Andrews, like, people don't know. They don't hear this kind of stuff on ESPN and stuff. The minute I got to the sideline, Mickey Andrews said, boy, you saved us on that one. Hell yeah, y'all taking too long.
And you like, motherfucker, I'm tired. I got that one out of desperation. The next play,
you can literally look on the field and see me just standing there with 11 people in front of me like, no, this not happening. This not happening.
Dude. You know, as a lineman, sometimes we have delusions of grandeur, right? So, like, I remember this was matter of fact, I think this was that St. Louis game that Blackman went off. We fumbled the ball, and or they picked off the ball. They picked it off, and I was right by the DB when he picked it off. He was running back, so I took an angle, and he was getting kind of held up by tight ends who were diving at him. And I like literally in my mind, I was imagining myself getting behind him, grabbing that shoulder and punching through to make him fumble it, right? I was like, this is what they teach them in the drills all the time. This is what they teach them. This is what I'm going to do it. Yeah. I'm running and I'm like, okay, here it comes. And I got him by the back of his pad and I just swung and he fumbled it, but we were out of bounds, so it didn't matter.
Yeah, bounds though, but you did it though.
I was like, yes, that's right, I did it. But you know, again, he was out of bounds. But I was like, this will be the moment that you save the Jaguars for this game. But then, you know, the one thing about a pick is you either tackle them when they pick it, but don't let them score a touchdown on the return because you got to come right back out after you chased him down the field.
That's why I be telling people about the oxygen. Right, and I tell people all the time, I say I love getting the pick and taking it to the house, but then I have to go straight back to.
Then you go right back out. We did that in New York 3 times in a row against the Jets. This was Rex Ryan's last year as their head coach. Josh McCown comes in at quarterback. This is Blaine Gabbert's rookie year, but he's not playing yet because Josh McCown is the starter. Because they cut Dave Garrard on the Monday before our first game.
I played with Josh.
So this cat threw 3 pick sixes in a row.
Whew. Jesus, I'd have been on the sideline causing hell.
Hey, we was pissed off on the O-line. We just jog over to the sideline and just wait because we got to go right back out 3 times in a row, and the game would not end. I was like, this game needs to end. We're down 4 scores. It's the fourth quarter with like 4 minutes left, and he throws another pick six, and that's like 8 seconds off the clock. Like,
people
this needs
don't
to end.
understand how bad that will piss a person off. Like,
that'll piss you off, man. But hey, Gino Hayes, everybody. I was about to say Gino Atkins. Gino Hayes, my former teammate from Jacksonville, also Tampa Bay Buccaneers. You were with the Bears too, right? Yeah, you were with Chicago.
Yeah, I
Well,
I was with
NFL vet,
exactly.
NFL vet class guy, great teammate, man. I really appreciate you coming on. We're wrapping it up. We've been going. I told you that we go like an hour. We're already at 2.5, but that's good. We've had a great conversation. We've had a great time. And I mean, dude, you got to come back on. You got to come back on.
Oh no, I literally want to do that because that's what I want to do. I like this. I want to start up. I appreciate you, even thinking about me to be on there, and I hope everybody that's listening probably learned something. But I'm being nice today. Okay, I had to work on my pettiness.
You gotta work. Hey, you be on Twitter being petty as hell. I'm like, ooh, petty Freddy, petty Murphy. Look at it.
That'd be me all day. Let my
I'd be cracking up.
glow.
I'd be cracking up looking at your tweets, dude. But yeah, for everybody in the audience, really appreciate you guys for being on. We're gonna wrap this up here. Gino Hayes, I'm gonna have him back on whenever we can, and really just appreciate having a good conversation with you, man. It was great talking with you, dude. And I wish nothing. I obviously you got my cell phone number now, and I got yours. Let's stay in touch. And let's get together again and talk about some more football. Maybe like do a pregame or something like that before a game starts. On the weekend.
No doubt. I'm with you, man. I love what you're doing. I'm glad you're doing it. I'm proud of you. I hope you keep it going. I'm here to help you out if you need me, and we can get some going. And the fans that are listening, I just want you to know I'm petty. I just want you to know I'm petty.
Oh, hell yeah, man. But look, man, I appreciate it, man. Stay up, stay healthy, and I'll talk to you on the next time we get you on here, brother.
For
Much
sure.
love.
One love.
All right, now. All right, everybody. Hey, that was a heck of a show, right? That one went pretty long. Had a great conversation with Gino. I mean, really good conversation, and I really do appreciate everybody for being on the podcast and checking out the podcast today. Make sure you hit that like button. Make sure you're subscribing to the Observant Lineman, Uche Nwaneri. Make sure you share this with your friends. The channel is continuing to grow, and I have you guys to thank for that. Just continue to show your support so I can keep bringing this content to you as I am. And really looking forward to continuing to just build the podcast as well. We're doing it once a week right now, but that might change in the future depending on how things go. I'm working on a couple of partnership deals with some companies that are interested in what I'm doing. So that will be something that will help the channel grow even more in the very near future. But I appreciate everybody for being on. And as always, I will catch you all on the next one. Peace.